Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Jennifer, the head of marketing at Prodigal. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fantastic. Very nice to have you on the podcast. Please tell us what your company does.
So, I am the head of marketing at Prodigal, and we are an artificial intelligence SaaS startup. We're focused on improving the operations for lender servicing and loan operations. I can go more into what that means, but that's the high level.
Please tell us more and what is the
Okay,
biggest problem that you're
yeah.
solving?
Yeah, so we are basically solving the issue of bringing more intelligence and software to very old industries. Specifically, there hasn't been a lot of innovation. It's been over 30 years where a lot of these financial services types of companies got power dialers to help them make more phone calls to their consumers and borrowers. And what we're doing is bringing software innovation on the paying back those receivables. So whether it be your auto loan or your medical debt or a credit card bill that's been overdue, we're bringing a lot of intelligence and software to these industries to help them make their operations a lot more efficient. So whether that be us helping with their QA and compliance because it's a very highly regulated industry, or we can help their agents with automated note taking, or we can even help their agents with coaching as we help them with our AI, help them be more empathetic agents on the phone with our final product. And all of these solutions, we have a lot of data, a lot of intelligence. So all of these things are helping them drastically improve operations, increase revenue, and even lower expenses, and absolutely lower risk as well.
That's amazing. And what do you say are the top three most loved features by your customers?
Yeah, so the top three most loved features I would say are we have agent scorecards that allow the head of the operations or the call center operations, help them understand how their agents are performing. That's number one. Number two is that we have some pretty cool custom reporting that's available that will help set up out of the gate. And then it's very easy for our customers to modify. And number three are integrations. We do integrate with a lot of those dialer systems that I mentioned at the outset. And that makes it really easy to implement our software and get started and getting up and running.
So cool. And do you have any integrations?
Yeah, we have several integrations. So a lot of those contact center dialers that we use, so Genesis, Five9, TCN, several of them are available. We're even working with Finvi, announcing something here very shortly with them about integrations for our Notes product. So it's been publicly released available, so I'm not sharing anything secrets.
Of course. Happy for you. And how do you price Prodigal? What is the pricing?
Yeah, I mean, it's very custom to each customer, but it's depending on how many agents you have or how many hours you'll plan to use the product, which products you're using. Like I mentioned, we've got three different applications. And so if you're purchasing one or if you're purchasing three, you'll get a better rate if you're purchasing all three of those products. So a lot of dependencies there, but that's basically how we're pricing those.
And how competitive is the space, in your opinion?
So no one is doing what we're doing as a vertical SaaS player because we're only focused on those companies who are having conversations with borrowers that have to do with money. So a couple of those things I mentioned earlier. We have some competitors in the space. As you know, there's lots of different companies who have different types of contact center or operations from airlines and retailers and oil and gas and everybody in between. We're only focused on those vertical players in the lender servicing and loan operation space. So banks, auto finance, collection agencies, credit unions, fintech, kind of that whole space.
I understand. Can you share
Yeah,
a
and what's
customer
incredible,
success?
yeah,
Please
one other thing
continue.
I wanted to add too, that what's incredible though too, is when we talk about artificial intelligence, obviously super hot topic right now. We've been an AI startup even before last November. But what's amazing, and so yes, ChatGPT and all the other products are helping us accelerate what we're doing. But we have our own, we call our own AI intent engine. And what's amazing by us focusing on this vertical market, our AI is only getting smarter and about what's happening with these financial services conversations. So when someone talks about bankruptcy or hardship, we know exactly what that is because we've done this in over 300 million types of conversations or interactions.
Wow, congratulations. I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about your favorite customer success story, if you can share with us. Not including names,
Yeah.
but how you helped the company.
Yeah, we've got some amazing customer success stories because like I said too, a lot of these companies like they have a lot of pressure to make sure that, their margins are thin and they also are very highly regulated. And so when it comes to quality assurance, their rules and regulations are always changing. Almost all of these companies are highly regulated by the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, which is a federal body. And so those fines can be really big if you don't comply. And so it's really important to make sure you do quality assurance on every one of your calls. But the reality is, because people are doing it manually, they basically were only able to listen to about 2% of their calls. And so with our software, they can listen to all 100% of every call and they can understand what's happening. And then instead of just they manage by exception rather than just, picking a needle out of a haystack. And so they really have a much better understanding of what's happening in their business that gives them really good peace of mind and allows them to sleep at night. And then also it helps them be more efficient in their operations, right? Have less staff to do QA. More of those people are allocated to other roles and positions where they need help. So it's pretty awesome. We're pretty excited about what we're able to do, and we've just gotten started.
That's super helpful. Thank you so much for sharing. And now more on the company side. I'd love to hear the story of the company and when you joined, if you can share with us.
Yeah, so the origination story of the company
Sure.
with our
Yeah.
founders. Yeah, so our
Yes.
founder started a few years ago and our founder worked at another company in the financial services space and really saw that this was an opportunity. We kind of joke that even people in the collections industry, no one grows up saying, I want to work in this industry. Unfortunately, they have negative reputations, but they're just trying to collect debt that people borrowed and owe anyway, and trying to work with them to do that the best way they can. If they didn't do that,
Yeah.
our economy would be unbalanced and people would be borrowing money and never paying it back. So they do serve a noble purpose. And so he saw this was an opportunity. He saw that there was a lot of focus from startups on the origination of loans, but not really the part of paying those loans back, or we call the receivable side. So there was a big gap here, and how could we help? And so our 3 products right now are really just the beginning, but we've got a much bigger vision as well to really truly bring a lot of data intelligence and insights to these operations so they can make smarter decisions and not just rely on simply credit scores that are stale and old and antiquated, but how to use this real-time data across all of your borrowers, across all of these companies who have this information so they can make the smartest decisions. And then you as a customer have, that real-time data as well. We know everyone in life, life is a series of ups and downs. And sometimes, things happen where you can't pay things off. But how do you work with those borrowers to make sure you fulfill those obligations, maybe over a longer period of time?
And when did you join the company?
And I joined the company over a year ago as the head of marketing. So it's been a ride, as many of these startups are. We work really hard. We do a lot of things. We make a lot of progress, but we push really hard because we're super accountable and really invested in these businesses. So definitely very fun. Like many of us in the startup space, we probably work too hard or too long. But when you see the impact of what you do every single day, it's very motivating as well.
Absolutely. Super happy for you. And I'm wondering, how many people do you have at the company right now?
We have about 70 people at the company right now, globally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you raised any funding?
Not in the last year or so. We had raised in the past, we had raised a Series A round as well.
Okay. And how would you describe your culture?
I would say our culture is amazing. So when I started we didn't necessarily even have any company values, but we've started to articulate those, and then we're now living against them. And what I think is really amazing with our culture too is, everyone is pushing really hard, but there's no bureaucracy, there's no politics. We're all trying to solve these problems and get on to the next one and test and learn and grow and move faster and figure out like where we're winning. And there's really not a lot of things to distract us along the way. So I think that's really exciting as well, because we don't have time for that, and it doesn't exist here. So everyone's really in it to win it, to work together and problem solve. There's no finger pointing here.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what did you say was the biggest challenge for you since joining the company?
Since joining the company, or my challenge today? Because there's always new ones. I would say since joining the company,
Whichever
it's just
you
trying.
want.
Yeah, since joining the company, it's just trying to figure out how do we articulate our story? How do we simplify what we're doing? If you're not in this space, it's really hard to articulate it. So I say something a little bit different when people aren't in the business, but when you're in it, there's a lot more different terminology we use. And so how do we, when I first started, when I asked everyone what we did, I got 10 different answers from 10 different people. And so for us in marketing, how do we simplify our message? How do we articulate our positioning? How do we make sure everything ladders up to that with our content, with our messages, with our look and our feel and our design? How do we have that consistency everywhere? And we've made a lot of progress in that direction. So I'm pretty excited about that. Obviously, always more to go, but really happy with what we've done so far.
What is the most successful go-to-market strategy that you use to get more customers?
Yeah, so I would say one of the things that's been working, and we know like in this environment of you have to do more with less, is keep doing what's working. And so I don't love it because it's not scalable, but one of the most successful channels for us is events. A lot of people in one particular industry too, they want to see you, they want to know you, they want you to show up, they want to see your brand. And we've made a lot of progress there, but
Yes.
we have to keep showing up. And we know these conferences can be expensive. And so what we're trying to do is diversify away from that, a lot more on the digital side. We've really gotten our BDR program going as well. And so working in conjunction with marketing, understanding what campaigns we're doing, and then having that personalized follow-up from the BDR is really turning into be a key motion as well. So keep doing what's working, but also diversify as well on the digital side. So that's where I'll go from there.
Thanks for sharing. What is the
Yeah.
future vision for the company?
Yeah, the future vision is to really lean into all of these, we're calling insights that we're able to get from all of the data. So not just calls, but email and text. There's lots of ways people engage with these types of companies, even chatbot. And so all this data that they have, that they're producing, how can we help them make smarter decisions so they can really grow their revenue, even decrease expenses drastically, and then absolutely that minimize that risk. So we see a lot of opportunity there with all that data that they're producing from their operations. How can we help them make sense of it? How can we bring some intelligence into this space, because we have this expertise and we can help them do more faster.
Absolutely. And now diving deeper into your personal side, I'd love to know, how does a day look for you as the CMO, as the head of marketing?
Yeah, I mean, so days can be, what I try to do is like plan my, days out ahead of time. That's usually the night before too, or the week before, like, hey, what are the big 3 things we want to get accomplished this week? And then
Yes.
I have a lot of meetings, but I also make sure I've got some deep work time. So having that time, like take off your watch, move your phone away, and have that uninterrupted time to get some good thinking in. Yeah, I also we're all remote here, so I work with my team a lot, engaging with them. We've got a couple of marketing stand-ups, trying to get some big projects across the finish line, each week. And then we got some longer term things that we always want to continue to make progress on. So there's a lot of demand gen that we're working on, and content, new tests we're trying. There's also longer term things too that we're doing around the brand, and how do we make sure we get our name out there. So some of these things don't pay off, or even a lot of other heads of marketing will appreciate this too. I had someone in my team move on to another opportunity. So not only do I have my job, but I have their job as well. And so I'm doing 2 jobs right now, but I'm excited to get someone in that spot. And then certainly I'll be responsible to train them. But
Yes.
it also gives you appreciation for, a lot of the things that your team is doing that we all need to, in a startup, you need to be able to do the strategy and the big picture, but you also need to delete the banner from the homepage last night because the event was over. So, we all do it all. There's a concept I heard in another podcast, one about the concept of little hands, that everyone does everything. No job is too big or too small. And that's certainly applicable here as well.
Amazing. I love your mindset. And were you the first marketing person when you got hired?
No, I was not. There was already a couple people here.
Okay, and how big is your team right now?
Yeah, so my team is now 7 of us on my team. So I also have the BDR team reporting through marketing. I don't think it truly matters if it goes through marketing or sales, but we're seeing, like I said earlier, we're seeing some good alignment with what's happening, that the BDRs are following up on the marketing campaigns, and then we're all in it to help sales, book deals, close business, and book revenue. So it's not just, a scoreboard here saying, okay, whatever marketing can throw up on the board, then we wash our hands and walk away. No, it's absolutely saying, how can we get you more qualified leads? How can you then close those leads as well is really important.
Yeah, I know this is a hot topic, so you explained it really well. Thank you. I'd love to know the story of your career, how you started, basically.
Yeah. So I am not a career marketer. I did start my career in marketing. In fact, my degree is in finance. So did that for a bit. And then I was actually in sales because I was at a financial services company. So I was like, oh, wait, I can make a lot more money being in sales. And then made a career pivot midway, was relocating and was like, oh, let me try this marketing thing. And I absolutely love it. I think marketing is the best of all worlds. It's analytical. It's creative. It's always learning. It's new stuff. It's, what worked here won't always work there. It depends on your business. So I think that's what makes it so amazing. And I also spent a lot of my time in big corporate companies. So I've just only recently made my way over to SaaS and startups. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the pace. I love the accountability. I love what we're trying to do. And I think it's not for everybody, but for those of us, I never want to go back to big corporations.
Do you have any advice for people looking to make the switch the same way you did from corporate to startups?
I would say talk to people, understand what you're getting into, because like I said, it's not for everyone, but for those people who really, don't have a problem rolling up your sleeves, being accountable, putting in the hours when you need to put in the hours. We're not trying to burn people out. It's not about that anymore either, but it's also not like a 9 to 5. We try not to work the weekends, but Sunday nights or we have a board meeting coming up, you have to do it. And so, personally, I think with, like I said, we're a fully remote company in the US. And so for those of us in the US, I think, being able to work from home, I cut a lot of time out of my commuting. And so I don't mind putting in those hours or, late at night, everyone else is in bed, putting a couple, it's quieter to get things done. Although yesterday it was late last night and I was like, someone saw me on Slack. It was in our India office. I was like, hey, you have a chance for a huddle? I was like, sure, let's huddle. So, truly in global companies too, you could work 24/7, but we have to make sure we take care of ourselves. And so that's why, I make sure I've got my routine in the mornings and I get my exercise in so I can be at my best every day.
That's so amazing. I really appreciate you sharing that. And how about some advice for starting marketers looking to get a job into startups?
Yeah, there's so much amazing content out there that didn't exist when I was kind of getting into this space. And so listen to amazing podcasts like this. There's so much good stuff out there. Listen to people. Join some communities out there. There's some free marketing communities that I'm a member of.
Yes.
And so join those, engage with your peers, learn from them. And then, of course, there's even books out there. So, take advantage of all those opportunities and continue pushing. There's no easy button in this space, and there shouldn't be, but you can invest the time, networking with people, and it's an amazing place to be.
Absolutely. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite SaaS product that you use?
I do use a lot of SaaS products because I look at our bills and I was like, wow, we're paying a lot of recurring revenue here. But, I'm a big believer too that I love amazing marketing. I love it when products are amazing as well because we spend a lot of hours on a lot of products. And so one that I love that I go into is HubSpot. I think it's a great, like they do great marketing, don't get me wrong, but also their product is really easy to use. It's pretty seamless. Like not a lot of us. I just got Calendly. I know I'm late to the party, but I just got Calendly, and I was like, oh, for all I've heard about Calendly, I thought it would have been a little bit better user experience. HubSpot is the one I really like the best. I'm learning Calendly, but I wish it was a little bit more enjoyable to use.
I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah,
Is there
I'm
anything
fully
else that you want to
transparent.
share?
I think that's
Yeah.
everything. This was really fun. I really appreciate you reaching out and getting the chance to do this live and on the fly. So super fun.
Thank you so much. You did fantastic. I don't know if it was your first podcast, but you did really great. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.